The Morbius trailer has recently dropped, and there's some very interesting things that are worthy of discussion presented in that trailer. So two of the key things, we have a mural of Spider-Man on the wall painted with the word murderer spray painted over it. And then also we have at the very end, we have Vulture make an appearance, portrayed by, what's the actor's name? Michael Keaton. Mm-hmm. Portrayed by Michael Keaton. So this is very interesting in a lot of different ways. So just a little bit of a backstory, just for anybody who doesn't understand, just to get everyone up to speed on the same page. Mm-hmm. The Sony, what's the Universe
Studios.
Okay. Sony Studios. They are in charge. They have the rights over Spider-Man and all of Spider-Man's characters. The thing that they do is they have a deal with Marvel Studios to allow the Spider-Man character to be used in their movies, but they still retain the rights of the Spider-Man character, and they produce the Spider-Man movies. So all of the Spider-Man standalone movies that are in the Marvel Cinematic Universe are produced by Sony. So with that being said, we know that moving forward, there was recently that whole controversy over Sony taking back the rights of Spider-Man because they weren't able to make a deal. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they have a deal for one more Spider-Man movie set with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And one appearance of Spider-Man in a Marvel universe. So technically 2 movies with Spider-Man in it is what we can expect moving forward. And so with this being the case, we had Venom, the Venom movie a couple years back, and now we have Morbius coming, and we know that they're planning on doing a second Venom movie. These are all Spider-Man centric characters. The first Venom movie had no connection with Spider-Man. There was nothing to do with Spider-Man. So it was just like, okay, we have this Spider-Man anti-hero having his own movie, which was pretty enjoyable generally. We left it at that. And then now we have this Morbius trailer that has now dropped, but there are 2 clear connections to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What do you guys think about that?
I'm curious how you feel about it, because I remember you always hated this whole idea of being connected and all this stuff.
Yeah,
I think it's cool. I think it's like cool to see characters from what they established in Marvel in Sony, because it makes the universe actually seem like a universe
connected.
Yeah, and like Venom was standalone, but now they open the door to actually bring in Spider-Man,
which is incorporate it.
Yeah, which is kind of essential if you're trying to tell like a Venom story. Yeah. So I think that for me it's a good thing, and I'm excited to see like what they do with it.
Yeah, they're playing to Marvel's strengths of just the connected universe, and I think they included it in the trailer in a really tasteful way. It wasn't in your face, and it felt very satisfying if you noticed it. It's for the fans, and I'm into it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I'm really into this, and one of the reasons that I really dislike having Spider-Man in the Marvel universe is because I feel that Spider-Man, I feel like having having too many worlds connected makes it so that the individual worlds can get watered down. So Spider-Man in the Marvel universe is basically a mini Tony Stark, which is not what he's supposed to be. And I feel like if he was allowed to be in his own thing, he would be able to shine as Spider-Man who he's supposed to be. And I think that I'm really worried about the Fox properties moving over to Marvel. I really hated that whole thing, and I don't like it. And I don't think that the X-Men movies moving forward will ever be the same again. But it's okay. I think that there's hope, because this Sony move, it seems to indicate to me that they are slowly separating themselves from the Marvel movies. They're making their own Sony universe by having all of these Spider-Man rogues galleries have their own rogues characters or anti-heroes technique, not necessarily the villains, but they're these anti-heroes. They're having them be in their own movies and making them interesting stories. And then I'm sure that later on they will introduce Spider-Man into this mix, and it'll be able to work in that way. And and one of the other things is that tonally, these Sony movies are very different from the Marvel movies.
That's true.
Very different.
They're very more dark.
They're
very
darker.
More...
I like it.
Exactly. I think it would be very interesting to see Spider-Man
in that.
In this.
Yeah. I'm very curious how they're gonna like approach that.
I think in the recent Spider-Man projects, even the one with who's the last guy? Those are the ones with Emma Stone.
Andrew Garfield?
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield. They mentioned that since then, like, they wanted to do a Sinister Six movie,
yeah.
and I think with Morbius and Venom and all these cool anti-heroes, including Falcon too, Vulture, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, disrespectful. But they can move into a Sinister Six project that will be interesting and that we'll care about because they're starting with these one-offs.
Yeah, that's crazy. If they do a Sinister Six project, I hope that we still have Spider-Man. Like, I hope in this next movie, Spider-Man's still going to be whatever he is, because, like, I always want to see, like, Spider-Man be, like, maybe not like the main antagonist, but something that's always going to be there when the Sinister Six are going after, like, Spider-Man, because it's just like, I don't know, it'd be an interesting movie to have a villains going against the hero that we've already known. So it'd be an interesting project.
Yeah, like from the villain's perspective.
Yeah, villain's perspective. Yeah, exactly.
I think, there hasn't been a villain-centric type, like, Avengers
Team
movie
up.
yet.
Yeah.
I think that would be what a lot of people want to see.
Exactly.
So I think, this is opportunity to see that.
For sure. And it seems that Sony is kind of taking the route that Fox was taking before they got eaten up by the mouse. Where they're willing to be experimental with their superhero films, and they're willing to try something different. Venom was very much like, it was dark, but it was also like dark humor. Like, it was funny, where you have this, like, this guy's like, I'll eat you and then poop you out and stuff like that. But and then Morbius, it looks like it's more of like, it's like a vampire, dark, very interesting. So it looks like they're definitely exploring and going outside and trying different things, seeing what fits. And I'm a fan of that experimentation, because that's how you get great things, in my opinion. Marvel has a formula and it works most of the time, but it doesn't create greatness, in my opinion. There's no Marvel movie that's like great. Like, in my top 50 films of all time, there's no Marvel movie in that for me. I appreciate them at the level that they are. And if you're talking about great superhero films, then probably some of them will get in there. But there's no Marvel film that will be at that top level. Whereas something like a Logan or Dark Knight, like, those are the types of movies that, in my opinion, are like my personal, like, greatest of all times, top 50 for sure, greatest of all time films.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up those films, and even like the kind of first X-Men films, like even Days of Futures Past, like,
Right, yeah, that's
that
a
was
good one.
experimental. It was beautiful. It was shaping up to be an incredible universe until, things got derailed eventually. But I was really optimistic about that universe. And I like how you said that this is Sony kind of pulling away from that whole Marvel formula, because then they can make their own tone. They can make their own project that's going to be unique to themselves, that we can enjoy and not have to sit through the same formula over and over again, as far as superhero movies, because I think that can get exhaustive. People get over superhero stuff really quickly, and we saw that was like kind of Justice League's mistake too. They kind of tried to copy the Marvel formula, and it ended up being their downfall. I think.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, so Disney doesn't get any property from this movie whatsoever?
From Morbius?
Yes.
I don't believe so. I don't believe they have anything to do with Morbius.
Okay. I was wondering. I guess because they've made a new deal with Spider-Man, but I guess it's just for Spider-Man.
I think it's just for Spider-Man. I may be wrong, but from what I understand, there's nothing that Disney has to do with anything anything in the Spider-Man universe other than the character of Spider-Man and then some of the villains that they use for the movies.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So they told Disney to stuff it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.